What was a time someone assumed something about you that was completely wrong? I was at a dinner party and people kept offering me drinks that I continued to decline. Eventually one woman's eyes lit up as she looked between me and my husband, and then she asked, "Oh my gosh, are you pregnant?" Everyone around us got quiet and I laughed and said, "No, I have epilepsy." I was handed no more glasses of wine after that. Sorry if I seem very dumb, but what does a colol do to you, if you don't mind me asking? See, I don't have a huge social group of friends. But the few I've talked to were understanding. And then there are the few that go, "Oh, okay. How about weed? Have you tried weed? I heard that helps epilepsy." No thanks, my meds work fine as long as I take them. I don't need weed. Around the holidays my students often wish me Happy Hanukkah. The exchange usually follows this pattern: student, Happy Hanukkah, professor. Me, thanks, Happy Hanukkah. Student, oh, I'm not Jewish. Me, neither am I, but thanks for the sentiment. Happy holidays. I'm a college teacher in a Brooklyn school, so a lot of my students simply assume I'm Jewish. I can see why they might make that assumption, but it does seem weird. Is your name even the slightest bit Jewish? Or German, or Dutch, or something that could be conceivably misconceived as Jewish? Professor Haim Dominguez, at your service. One time in Japan I asked an old lady for directions, in Japanese. I was still a beginner, but I tried my best to speak in their language rather than asking stuff in English. So this lady assumed I spoke very good Japanese and started chatting. I tried telling her I couldn't understand, and everyone else on the bus was trying to hide their laughter. The conversation went on for 10 minutes and I still have no idea what she was saying. She was very nice though. Oh, I feel you on that one. When I arrived in Japan for my semester abroad and went to the estate agency that were going to show me to my flat, the head guy was apparently so impressed by my initial greeting words that he saw fit to machine gun through the particulars of explaining my contract at native speed XD. In retrospect, I really should have swallowed my pride and asked to switch to English at that point. They could have made me sign all kinds of shady stuff if they had wanted to. This happened to me in China. A lot. I have a great accent, great listening, but very little speaking ability. I live in a very Hispanic/Latino area, and one woman heard me speak English and yelled at me for not speaking Spanish, calling me a traitor to my ancestors and bringing shame to my past family history in Mexico and Puerto Rico. Imagine her surprise when I told her I was Arab and Middle Eastern. Still felt guilty for not knowing Spanish for some reason. Lamau. Ooh. I've had this experience too. Well, same but different. I'm Hispanic, but I'm often confused for Indian. I've been yelled at by Indian men for not speaking or understanding Hindi and have been told that my parents should have raised me better. I started wearing gold hoop earrings to make myself look more Latina and am no longer yelled at by Indian men. A teacher in 8th grade told me a similar story. She had a cousin who lived in the US and they're from Moroccan descent. One day a teacher asked her what Latin American country she was from, and she told her she was actually Moroccan. The teacher completely lost her shit and started yelling at her that she shouldn't be ashamed to be Latino and that she should instead be ashamed of pretending to be something else just to fit in. A bloke from Scotland thought I was Canadian rather than naturalized Canadian, and thought the Russian accent was how Canadians speak. Lol. I once had 3 Scottish guys sitting behind me in a plane. Those fuckers speak so fast I could understand only a fraction of what they were saying, despite them all being hammered and loud. Imagine his surprise if he came to Canada to visit and ran into a couple of Newfoundlanders. I sound like a major nerd and often talk to work contacts for months over the phone before meeting them in person. I've lost count of the number of times someone has told me they thought I had glasses. But my vision is perfect. I have 20/15 vision, am currently 6'2", am muscular, and I am a massive nerd. I've been asked to join the football team. I was pressured into playing basketball last year, but I just hate all ball sports. The only athletic thing I do is run track edit. I am currently a freshman, grade 9 if you aren't familiar with the system. That's a very odd thing for someone to assume just based off phone conversations. I can see trying to imagine someone's build based off their voice, but that's about it. My ex-wife was convinced I had another family in another state. Simply because she heard a kid's voice in the background when I was traveling for work and sitting in a restaurant once. During divorce depositions, I once spent a full day being questioned, and half the questions were slightly different wordings of "so you have another family / child / spouse / kid / dependent / etc. So, do you? Obviously other people don't have children where you can hear them. Children are kept in little boxes in the home until they are 18 years of age. Where else would you hear someone else's child? Speaking of weird divorce shit, my dad's business partner's ex-wife was convinced that he and my dad had millions and millions of dollars hidden in offshore accounts. She hired a forensic accountant to look through everything. My dad said she hoped she'd find something so he could have these millions she thinks he already has. People look at me and think I'm either a marijuana enthusiast or addicted to something. The truth is I've never done anything. I guess I just dress like a skater and for a lot of my life operating on at most 5 hours of sleep. I know a guy like that. He doesn't even dress in any remarkable way, he just has one of those faces and talks slowly and quietly. Many people think he is high all the time when he really isn't. That sounds annoying as hell. I know some teachers used to treat him differently because of it. Had people think that I was a stoner all through high school and college because of how I look, dress, talk, so I really feel this one. Had a friend I was crushing on that I felt liked me too. We were talking online one day and he had to go to work. He says I'll barrel and then get to spend more time with my favorite Asian. I asked, who's that? For as long as I knew him he thought I was Asian. Once he found out I wasn't he ghosted me. Seems like he was fetishizing you. Yikes. Dodged a weird kinda bullet. That because I'm Asian there's no way I could possibly have been born in America. Where are you from? South Carolina. Ah yes, it is a known fact people take the looks of the place they were born in. People think I am Hispanic. This has happened a few times, sometimes coming as a direct question and sometimes as people speaking Spanish to me as if I will understand. I don't. I have no idea why, although I am mixed race, white / nez perce, mostly white, I look white as hell. I am shorter than average for a guy so maybe that is part of it, but it's weird. I'm mixed as well, some Hispanic, some Eastern European, and for some reason multiple people think I'm Chinese. Not sure how they come to that conclusion, but they are very wrong. Dude, same. I've been asked if I'm Hispanic since middle school. I'm mostly Eastern European. Anytime someone assumes I don't speak Spanish because I'm a red-headed güero, I understand everything you're saying about me, Ruben. I learned from a Panamanian ex-boyfriend that red hair is actually quite common in Hispanic people, which I found surprising. He had a red-headed cousin who I met, and when my ex grew his beard out, it was a light auburn color. Pinch Ruben. That I am clever because I like to read and wear glasses. Then they see my grades and are really surprised. All F's? I saw your glasses and assumed you get at least all C's. Are you reading when you're supposed to be doing things to improve your grades? I relate to that hard. People in high school spread rumors I was always having sex. I'll be the first to say that nothing could have been farther from the truth, and many girls couldn't even stand me. I have no idea where the rumors came from or how they started. Some of them even made their way to the local civic theater and other high schools. I actually had a couple instances where someone would tell me, fake name used as an example, Sam Holtman from South High said you were having sex with blah blah blah, and I had never met the people mentioned, or even knew anyone from the other school. It happened my last 2 years of high school and it was very surreal. It followed me to my sophomore year of college, but it happened significantly less often. Edit, I had no idea this was such a common experience. Why do people do shit like this? I had a really bad relationship with my mom and went to go live with my dad when I was 16. I was relieved to be in a stable, loving home. Then some girl from my old high school who didn't even know me told a girl at my new high school I was a slut, which was totally untrue. Took about 3 weeks for my house to start getting egged and my dad wondering what I did wrong to the girls. I only stayed 1 semester, then went back to my shitty mom and my old high school where I had tons of friends but a horrible home life and only barely graduated. Since people actually read this, I'll update. When I went back to my school, the girl who spread the rumor to my new school sat behind me in a class. I had no idea it was her. One day she said to me, "You know, I told X in other high school you were a slut. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were so nice." I didn't even know what to say, I was so shocked. This was the girl who ruined my life for 6 months. She wasn't popular, in fact she was overweight and bullied a little but mostly ignored and labeled a loser. I'm sure she lived her own version of high school hell and I was never mad at her. We stayed friends. Kids can be cruel, but you never know what someone else's life is like. She probably thought I was a stuck-up bitch before she knew me, and it was a way of getting back at the people who were not nice to her. This same thing happened to me, except I'm a girl. I had a mean ex that told everyone we had sex. We didn't, and they all assumed that meant I was sleeping with every guy I made eye contact with. I was once at an after-school function and some girl I'd never met walked up to me and said, "Oh, you're insert names friend with benefits, aren't you?" And I was absolutely baffled because I had no clue who she was talking about nor why she seemed so confident that I had had sex with him. I also had guys texting me asking me what I would do to them if we were together, and it was so surreal because I was actually quite modest and didn't have sex with anyone for at least 3 more years after all this started. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.